Okay, this is also another new video from an entire different things. And as hopefully the title said, this is my discussion, my beginning to talk theory, or more like what I want from this arc of One Piece. The Totland arc or the Whole Cake Island arc, it's not exactly known what the official name is, for me at least. But I've been, after, I read last chapter, and I was very mighty upset. I mean, it wasn't necessarily a bad chapter, and many of the better reviewers made very good reviews of those. And of course, I'm not talking about the very popular ones like Shibi and Roger. I know I'm talking about the ones I always commentate. They did very good reviews. But the thing is, I am getting very upset about this arc. I have said in many videos that this arc is not slowing down and it's very, very good, and that's true. But now we have got into a situation where I am really throwing a temper tantrum, because from whatever happens from this day onward will probably change everything we know. And a lot of people have compared that to the Water 7 arc, the Ennis Lobby arc. It's not difficult to see why. But that has also increased my very deep fear about this arc. If anyone who has watched my reviews have watched them and watching this, they will know that I talked about making a video about me ranting about how much of this year of Sanji I feel is wasted. This is not this video, although I will add many elements, because if by some day I will make that video, I will probably forget half of what I talk about because I'm an improviser. I don't know much, but I did write a little bit of what I wanted to talk about in this video. In the last late chapter, Sanji decides to turn over to the Windsmokes in a York's facade in order to protect the Seth, even if he has to hurt the Straw Hats. And that got the fandom really burning in their theories, mostly because Sanji should be smarter than this. I mean, he knows he has no choice, so of course this is the logical choice. But what people mean is that he should be smarter than this, is because he should find a way to communicate to Luffy. Luffy communicated to his friends during their training exercise. And Luffy is stupid, don't get me wrong, he is stupid, but at the same time he's also someone who believes in the people he guides, maybe. But the thing is, he also doesn't like when people begin to talk badly about themselves as friends. So he has some views upon that. So a lot of people are wondering, how is he going to convey the message? And the thing is, whatever he conveys on, it's going to be a very long wait. Have people ever thought about that? Waiting. It's about 90% of our lives. Always we do the waiting. Whatever it's important things, like a couple waiting for their baby to be born, when a person is waiting if they have gotten their job, when they've gotten their money for the day, getting into a school, heck, even if they know if their projects are finished. And waiting for manga chapters, not to mention waiting for video games. Hell, we have a lot of video games coming out this last year. And November, the November of games. Everyone, including me, I didn't make any videos about that because unfortunately I don't have a capture card for that. If I did, I would gladly made it of that game. The Pokemon Sun and Moon. We cannot wait for that game. Neither can I, because I need to confirm if my deepest fears about that game is true, and given what I've seen of it so far, it seems to be very true. But back on One Piece on the matter is that we are waiting for the chapters. We get 3 chapters a month, then Oda needs to take a break because he's literally killing himself for this manga, and he's still not finished. We are biting our nails in fear for that. So we cannot change anything. We have to wait and for the chapters, and we'll get it eventually. But the problem is that slow pacing sometimes make this waiting all too more excruciating, and this finale of this latest chapter only increased that. Because now the deepest theory that people have begun to ask themselves is this: It only took 5 minutes for me to get to this point, but now I'm gonna say it. Will Luffy fight Big Mom? That's the thing that people are really beginning to asking themselves, because they're beginning to think logically, saying, no, Luffy shouldn't be able to defeat Big Mom. But people, uh, if anybody's watching this, I have to tell you something. Have you already forgotten what we have been promised after this arc? Kaido. Mother freaking Kaido versus the Straw Hats, the Mink tribe, and the samurai and all the ninjas. Don't you get it? Luffy needs to fight a Yonko. If he can defeat a Yonko by himself, that's an entirely different story. But he can no longer evade them. And in fact, he has even said it to his crew. We were gonna fight them sooner or later. So he is actually anxious of fighting a Yonko. Which means all the more, he needs to fight Big Mom. Will he defeat Big Mom? That's the deepest question. Because if you think about it, let's just say if you think about it. If Luffy did defeat Big Mom, what would happen? Well, chaos, obviously. But the thing is, Big Mom have created an archipelago, or whatever they call it, an utopia of, 35 different islands, all with a food team. Probably they got that way because of a devil fruit, but my point is, this means that if Big Mom were to defeat it, this news would spread like wildfire all over the entire Totland. But would it spread all over the rest of the world? They know when an intruder gets into their water. That we have got confirmed. But if the island is in panic, it is very likely that the information could get out. And if it got out, what would happen? Well, people will panic. People will say there's no way, and the Marines will take a chance to maybe just attack Big Mom's utopia, because I don't think they like the fact that a pirate had created a utopia, or whatever we can call that, a utopia. But that is only if we think of it another way. Another way is people thinking, it's the most logical one according to others, is that Luffy will befriend Big Mom. She will become an ally, because if she becomes an ally of the Straw Hat Pirates, then the world will still be sent into chaos. Because currently they are ranking the Straw Hats almost as a big threat as the Yonko, or maybe even more, because, well, the Straw Hats are a threat, but they're not on the power level of the Yonko. That's what the rest of the world is saying. The Yonko are a threat, but at the same time, as long as you don't piss them off, they don't create a temper tantrum. That's the rule of the world. So if a Yonko allies themselves with the Straw Hats, then they will really panic. But the thing is, people, I can't see it. I really can't. I know Oda has introduced many villains before, and then they become friends. But take Crocodile for example. That was no friend. That was just an ally for his own selfish needs. Hachan, on the other hand, while he appeared to be just an insufferable racist, just like the rest of the Arlong Pirate, it turned out that that guy actually had a hidden heart. And in the end, you actually can say that, no, that guy is not a villain anymore. I mean, he's definitely not a villain anymore. And so many, many more characters of Luffy. But there's also the what we have seen of Big Mom's personality. It doesn't ring it for me. And it still doesn't make any sense for me. When Lola was introduced, and then we got to know that she was Big Mom's daughter, everybody was guessing that, even me. But then we saw Big Mom's personality in the Fisherman Island arc, and I immediately said, nah, there's no way someone as Lola could possibly have that kind of girl as a woman, as a mother. Not only because of the way she talked, but also how she acted. Then it turned out that, yes, she was. And I still don't like that, because many children of Big Mom are not necessarily just like her. But think about it. She's mentally ill. She eats whoever she wants to eat. She takes the life of people's as cost for protecting them. She burns down islands if they just piss her off, and she is a control freak. And the fact that, why does she even marry people if she only wanted the sperm? It doesn't make sense for me. Everything about Big Mom's personality is crazy Caligula-like. And how can possibly Luffy make an ally of someone like that? That is the thing is, I can't see it. I can't see it. I know I'm wrong, but I still can't see it. Unless, of course, they make some kind of excuse that Big Mom has multiple personality disorder. Or maybe because the way she has become mentally ill and she needs to be cured of that. And if she becomes cured, maybe she will become a kinder person. It still doesn't explain why she talks just like all the 99% of the males of the world, but I guess that must mean because, well, she's a Yonko, she's arrogant, and every arrogant person needs to talk like that. But there's also the fact that Big Mom is holding all the cards currently. She has Sanji, she has Seth's life in as hostage by knowing where he is, and Sanji has handcuffs. So technically, Big Mom and the German 66, they have all the balls in their court. How the hell can the Straw Hats clear that? There's only one way I can see that: total annihilation. And not of the Straw Hats, but of the whole Cake Island. You don't want to get between the Straw Hats and their temper tantrum. Just ask Ennis Lobby. I know Ennis Lobby is not the Big Mom pirates, but still, it was said to be a unbreakable gate of justice with the CP9, who, although people today say may not have been that impressive, they were impressive. Because even if many had devil fruits, Luffy did the one thing a villain without Haki, without a Logia, and without a Paramecia did. True, he had a Soen, and that did give him claws and increase his physical strength, but he did the one thing many villains did not do at that time. He hurt Luffy with brute strength and technique only. I know, technically, Don Flamingo also did a little bit, but that was more about immense leg strength and haki together with a very powerful Paramecia. So if Luffy will fight Big Mom, how will he defeat her? There is only one thing people can see: a new gear, a gear 5, or as I like to call it, gear Goto, because and an awakening fruit. Don Flamingo said every Paramecia who awakes can control things that is not their body. So how would the Gomu Gomu no Mi react to that? Will it turn the entire island of Whole Cake Island into rubber or elastic? And maybe he then can wrap it around his body to create a Titan-like form that when he harnesses to Haki, it becomes even stronger, just like Gear 4. Only the difference is instead of expanding, uh, which is stretching his stamina, he wields a suit that increases his strength. And if you think about it, if his Gear 5 is called Gear Goto, that will sound very similar to God. So I think that would actually happen. And he needs an awakening fruit if he needs to defeat Kaido, because he will defeat Kaido. At least fight him. We have no idea how that fight will go. Will Straw Hats lose a limb or two, or will there be sacrifices? All we have been hyped up is that there will be very changes. In fact, this whole saga is called the Yonko War Saga. That seems to imply that that all of the Jonko, even Blackbeard and Shanks, will be dragged into this. So yeah, and Shanks should be an ally, no question. Blackbeard is definitely among the final villains. So if Big Mom would become an ally, maybe she would attack Kaido. But I have a feeling we would see Gekko Moria in the new in that Wano Kuri arc, also because he has a grudge against Kaido, and also because his crew stole Ryuma's corpse. I don't think he will be very welcoming. So I would prefer if Gekko Moria showed himself in the next arc. I would prefer if he died in battle. But that's one of the bigger points of our talking about this. I believe Luffy will fight Big Mom, and I know he must defeat her. The problem is, will he defeat her alone, or will he have help, or will he at least wound her? People are hyping up the Jonko as undefeatable, and currently even Uda is ranking up Big Mom as unbeatable. The thing is, she wasn't. I mean, he wasn't hyping up Whitebeard as much. I mean, Whitebeard only needed to be shown in battle, and everyone went crazy, me included. So yeah, how powerful is Big Mom? That's the question. And but now we're gonna talk about something else, and hopefully this will go quick. It's things that, as I said about my fears and stuff, there's many things I want for this arc, and that is actually the thing that is really questionable. One of them is I want the defeat of the Germa 66, or at least the Vinsmoke family. The Germa 66, people were asking, could they become allies of Luffy? And if Ryuju really is that kind, yeah, maybe she can become a commander. But she doesn't like to be under someone's jurisdiction that is not her family, so that's really difficult to see. But Germa 66 becoming Straws allies, that would be greatly good. And I also want Big Mom's pride to be wounded. She is an enormous fat bitch of arrogance, but she needs to, and someone needs to clip that. Doing that might be a key of saving Sanji. And if they, and as I said before, if they can't defeat Big Mom, somehow win Big Mom over. But how can you reason with someone who's only so selfish? And then it's also tell us if Pudding is good or evil. From what we've seen of her, seems to include that she is a kind child. But the thing is, if she is kind, if she has met Sanji, and if what she told the crew about Sanji is true, then that seems to hint that Pudding would become a new crew member of the Straw Pirates and Sanji's wife. But at the same time, people can't see that because it would be an odd number. So who knows? And also, show us every single of the Charlotte family. We have been promising 85 children, and how many have we seen currently? Was it 10? Uh, um, so yeah, we really need to see all of the Big Mom children, and the problem is having 85 characters. It's gonna be really difficult introducing them. And as I said before, I need us to see a preview of Luffy's awakening. Giving us that might be the key of giving us a little bit more hope. And then my biggest fear, as I've said before, I would make a video ranting about this year of Sanji. But the thing is that I'm greatly afraid of this arc is Sanji not getting justice. He has been a Wurfa-ficked shoe toy ever since the Punk Hazard arc. I mean, I just saw that fight. I mean, I didn't just saw. I mean, I saw that fight against Virgo. And when I soon that Virgo fractured Sanji's leg, I was so pissed off. I mean, what was the point of that? It wasn't even brought up again. It wasn't even brought up if Sanji still had a fractured leg. Moreover, it wasn't even brought up if he could heal. So what I want to see this arc is Sanji defeating someone alone. Not with someone's help. Alone. Why am I so afraid of that? Well, I saw a spoiler video. By the way, this is warning spoilers. From a very good reviewer called Just Another Reviewer. And I think she talked about that she saw One Piece Gold. And as soon as she told us something, I immediately got very scared, because that seems to imply that yes, Uda has no intention of ever letting Sanji get justice again. And what is that? Fine. Well, I will try to keep this spoiler free, but I don't know exactly how. But let's just say these words: alone. There was no alone in that moment when it came to Sanji. Even though he may have done it, done the kick, he was still not doing this alone. And that's what I'm afraid of. Sanji not defeating his family alone, or at least Jaji alone. Also, I want to see more of Carrot fighting. She has been hyped up as a good character, and although people criticize Uda for wasting female characters, which I may and may not disagree with, I have no problem if a big-breasted girl shows herself. And don't get me wrong, that's not just because I'm a pervert. I mean, I'm not that distracted of that in manga. I wish I was just as distracted about that as Sanji was. It's more like the fact that if they do introduce these buxom ladies, I would prefer if they do kick ass. Because if she's sexy and dangerous, that's a very nice combo. So that way people don't have to criticize Uda always about making a lady sexy, not necessarily just kick ass. And I want to see Karoto fight here. And finally, what I most want to see is Jinbei again and the Sun Pirate joining the fleet. That's what I want to see. Hell, I even want the Grand Fleet to join in Kaido's, no, not Kaido's, join in the fight against Kaido's. But if the Sun Pirates join Luffy and Co. on the battle against Kaido, that would be mighty good. But who knows? And finally, before we end this video, we'll talk about the things that I do not want to happen, but I have a very big fear and confirmation that it will. First of all, I do not want Beige to become an ally. But with the introduction of Pound and revealing that, yes, he is Chiffon, which is married to Beige, being her father, it may be very likely that Beige will become an ally. There's also some hints that he's planning something on behind Big Mom's back. But think about it. Beige is everything Luffy hates. He shoots his own crewmates. He is selfish of what he own wants. I mean, Luffy is also selfish, but in a different way. And he also has said straight up, feelings is not needed in a pirate's life. And Luffy always listens to his feeling, whatever if there's personal or selfish ones. So the fact is Chiffon Lola's evil twin? It wouldn't surprise me if she is Lola's evil twin. They look exactly alike, the only difference is hair. So maybe Chiffon is just an evil version of Lola. No honorable and very evil. The fact that she all her faces so far has been shown to be not like Lola's. They have a little bit more malevolence in that. So I do not want Beige to become an ally in this scenario. But given how the fact that all people saying that, yeah, Luffy can't defeat Big Mom alone, it wouldn't surprise me if he becomes an ally. And Germa 66 getting away, that's also not something I don't want. I don't want the Vinsmoke family to become Karma Houdinis in this arc, but I think they will. I want them to lose everything. I want them to lose their troops, their laboratory, their pride, everything. Because if you think about it, a guy like Jaji, he can't just be defeated. He needs to have everything he worked for ruined. And that's what One Piece does best, and what I've always liked about One Piece. Humiliating defeats to insufferable and dangerous villains. All from Captain Kuro, Crocodile, Enel, and even Spandam. Every single one losing everything they to do, and even Hoodie Jones. Just when they think they win, they get a humiliating defeat by Luffy and the crew. And then they lose everything they built up. That is so satisfying in seeing. So I do not want them to become Karma Houdinis this arc. And as I said before in my previous video, I want Sanji to show improvement. If this arc ends with him not kicking his family's ass, or at least that ends with him not defeating a commander, because another reviewer who I do not like have said that that Sanji can no longer be on the level of a Yonko Suite commander, and I fear that he may be correct. But I still want him to kick somebody famous ass alone. And as I said before also I do not want Carrot's character being wasted. And I don't want the Straw Hats to flee from Totland too. If they're gonna flee, I want them to flee just like how they fled from Enies Lobby, in blazes of glory and the villains throwing a tantrum. And I do not, as I said before very early, I do not want Big Mom to be befriended. That seems to be the only way out of this. But I want an explanation. I want an explanation on how you can pacify someone that selfish, arrogant, and not to mention psychotic and childish. And also, finally, I do not want Nami to being the daughter of Big Mom, because that theory has gone on very much far. Oh, Nami controls the weather, and so does Big Mom. They must be related. And I just say, how? How can Nami be a daughter of Big Mom? There's not a single clue of that. Not to mention, Belemere found Nami as an orphan with Nojiko in East Blue. Granted, it's not confirmed where Big Mom came from, but no, it can't. It doesn't make sense. I know Big Mom wasn't. Nami was an orphan, so therefore we do not need to have an explanation on every hidden secret about her past. Therefore, this explanation would make sense. But at the same time, I don't want that. Just because Lola said that we are sworn sisters, she doesn't look like Big Mom, and many siblings doesn't. But the thing is, Oda may be a brilliant artist, brilliant creator, and brilliant with all of his creating this One Piece world. And there's also one thing we can talk about. People. One day One Piece will end. And one day another person will want to create a similar manga. But people will always say, you can't make another One Piece manga. And the problem is, we need to. Because One Piece is such an original series that one day there will be someone making just a similar one. Because he has influenced people that much. But I do not want Nami to being a daughter of Big Mom, because I just feel it doesn't make sense. A single bit. Granted, it doesn't make sense how Big Mom can control the weather, but I'll go with the theory that, yeah, she must have homies doing that too. So that's basically this video, me talking about that and everything else. It was a long video, but this was a discussion theory. I don't know exactly what I was gonna call this, but I think I call it the Whole Cake Island rant theory discussion and stuff. So give me your thoughts if you had any.